Okay, welcome back to another vintage fishing reel service video. In this episode we have a Shakespeare number 1766 model EE, which would mean that was first produced in 1966. Kind of a nice looking reel, all metal, except maybe the thumb button is plastic. But a nice metallic colored, sort of coppery rose colored metallic paint on it. Has a star drag, and whether or not this anti-reverse or whatever that is works, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's a bait clicker. Probably an anti-reverse, but at any rate, it's really tight. I mean, it really takes a lot of effort to turn the handle. So hopefully it's just grease bound and we can get this working again like new. So the cover, boy oh boy, that thing looks bent. That doesn't look right at all. And this one may be an issue. You see how much more space there is between the body and the spinner head versus there. This one maybe not repairable, we'll see. But this just has a groove and a thing, and just twists on clockwise, twists off counterclockwise. But maybe it's supposed to be that way, or I don't think so. We'll see. But that is definitely concerning. Push button mechanism works. This looks like it's made for a coin. Very wide slot on there. Doesn't like quarters, but it likes dimes. Maybe that's supposed to be that way. I don't know. It just looks very odd. It almost looks like it's bent. Like the whole thing might be bent. I don't know how it would get bent like that, but it certainly looks funny. I've never seen one like that. Alright, so push this little clip back. Yeah, it's so this is supposed to be pressed in, and it's come free somehow. The good news is that I can straighten it out. It's now straight. So if we put this back on, and we put that spinner head back on, now you can see that it's equidistant all the way around. So basically what happened is that this thing, it was shifted for the whole thing's starting to come out basically. And that's supposed to kind of really not be made to pull out. It's supposed to just press in. So or at least the ones that I've dealt with in the past just aren't typically something you pull out of there. So I may JB weld that in there or something like that, just to make sure that doesn't happen again, that doesn't, or I might be able to pound it in good enough. It wasn't fully pressed in there. Maybe I can just pound it in good enough so that it won't, because it wasn't all the way down in, but I might be able to just pound that down in there, and that might be secure enough. But if not, I'll put some JB weld in there. This thing's a little loose, so I'm gonna bend that down, tighten that up a little bit so that it actually fully engages in that notch. And there's some old nasty line on there, orange line. I'll take that off. The nice thing about this is that the line stop, the rubber line stop, is still there. It's hard, but in okay shape. There is a, obviously where the line The line has sort of cut a groove in there. I might scrape that off a little bit. The line pickup pin appears to be without any cuts in there, so that's good. Looks to be a nylon arm in there. Cap looks pretty dirty inside, a bunch of lake scum. So this has been used. That line was like multicolored, changed color as you went. This must be some kind of modern line that somebody was using in there. This turns a lot nicer now, probably now that this is out. Of course, this was jammed sideways, so that probably was part of it. Put that in the parts tray, and that in the parts tray. Shakespeare still using the same size nut. There's the tension washer, which is characteristically, I find them typically with the concave side up, which is the way this one was. Now we'll hope that the screws in the side plate aren't corroded and we don't have any issues there. And this whole mechanism should come out. And there's your anti-reverse dog that really needs to be cleaned. I mean, there's a lot of gunk and dried up grease in there. Your anti-reverse gear, if you want to call it that. Teeth pointing backwards. And then what do we have here? This is one thick fiber drag washer there, and then you've got one thin one in here. Yeah, that was really stuck on there. Okay, well, that completes the disassembly. So now we can take all of these beautiful dirty parts over to the sink and scrub them with a toothbrush and get down in all of the journals where the various shafts go with WD-40 and cotton swab and so on. Scrub these down and I'll be right back just like that. Okay, let's set all our parts out here. And start to put this thing back together, but first do my steel wool treatment here. This is the bushing for the main gear shaft, and this is the pinion gear shaft. Just get any of that old grease residue off there, get that shined up good so that moves as freely as possible. Definitely some wear on these gears. Hopefully they weren't using it much when that spool shaft was all bent out of shape. You can definitely see some wear there on that gear. I have a half a mind to flip that over, but I don't think I will. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to pull that up and get some oil in there. Alright, I think we're ready to reassemble the main gear assembly, and because these are so dry and nasty, I'm just gonna put just a little grease on them and spin them and then wipe it off. I don't like these to be over lubricated. They're supposed to create drag, not just slide round and round without any resistance. So that one goes on there, and then that shaft, that goes through there. Alright, then we had our great big thick fiber washer. That went on the back side. And then we had our anti-reverse gear with the teeth pointing backwards. Let's just see. Yeah. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put a little lubricant on that. So I've got that disengaged. Put my bushing in, slip this down in there, and then when I engage that, I've got anti-reverse. Alright, so now I can put my star on after I put on my tension washer. And then put on the crank handle. And I suspect at one point this had a lock washer, which isn't there, so that's something I'll have to get at some point. But that's moving really nicely. Make sure this is lubricated. See, the oil goes in clear, but when it comes out the other end, it's black. And so it's washing all that gunk out of there and lubricating at the same time. Alright, so now the issue with this, do I hammer that back in and hope it never pops out again, or do I put it in permanently with JB Weld? I'm going to try just pressing it back in for now. It seems pretty solidly in there, so unless I have any issues with it, I'll leave it like that and not permanently weld that in there. All right. Now, let's see, we got to put this in. And oil that. Oh, come on. And then our main gear. Now we can grease around here where the spool rides and lock that into place. Let's see, we got to make sure one of these little knobs line up here and lock in. And then we need to lubricate our pickup pin mechanism and throw this on. I don't know if this really is going to make any difference or not, but I'm just going to try to grind off that little gouge where that line was, but it's so deep. I don't think I don't want to do that anymore. Probably not an issue. All right, now I think we're ready to button this up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil around here where the thumb button rides, and work that in there. We can put a little bit of grease where the button contacts the pinion gear shaft, and then we can reinstall the side plate. Working beautifully now. You can see the pickup pin going in, coming back out when it's supposed to. Beautifully, smoothly working reel now. This has multiple drain holes, so it really doesn't matter which way it goes on. If you want the boat rash to face down, you can do that. Make it look nice and shiny up top. But and I'm sure the drag works, obviously. If I hold on to that, if I tighten this down more, it gets obviously harder to turn. So drag's working fine. So there you have it, a Shakespeare number 1766 model EE from 1966. Good looking, all metal, made in the by God USA, Spincast reel. Thanks for watching.